Alright, so in this video I'm going to be going over the dead bug. So, because this is really kind of like an isolation movement, these are the primary stabilizers for this movement are going to be the rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis, the obliques, and then also your erectors as well. Probably couldn't say those words any worse. Anyway, now, the first thing that I'm going to look for with a dead bug variation, they're going to lay on their back just with their flat back. As they're doing this, there's going to be a space in between their lower back. And I'm going to want them to eliminate that space. To be able to do that, what they're going to do is they're going to clench forward, almost like they're trying to bring their chest over to their belly button, or they're trying to basically stand. If they were standing up, they're kind of just trying to slouch over as much as they can so we can drive that lower back in the ground. That's going to help us activate our core just a little bit more. Now, if you see, now do that clenching. He's going to push his weight right down, and now my hand is going to have a much harder time coming out. Because when you do that, again, flex down in your core real tight, your head is going to come up slightly. Oh, you probably couldn't see that. Do that one more time. Your head is going to come up. If that's the case and it starts kind of putting a little bit of strain on your neck, you can always put something right underneath your head so you're in a more comfortable position as you are doing this movement. Would you like that there, or would you want me to move that out of the way? Cool. So, after we learn how to clinch, and again, there's a couple different cues. This took me in a seminar maybe 3 hours to learn this when I was a kid, and it was a very embarrassing moment for me, so it's something that I really focus on. Now, he's going to raise his knees up so his knees are right on top of his hips, and he's got about a 90-degree angle bent from his knees. Then he's going to bring his hands straight up, right up to the top again, focusing on keeping this core nice and braced, and then driving that lower back right into the ground. The focus with this movement is stabilization. So we are focusing on stabilizing the core while allowing movement around our other extremities. Again, as Braden is an athlete, that is something that is a real big focus with athleticism because, again, we don't really need to work on flexing and extending, although that could be a fine exercise. There's really no harm in doing sit-ups or stuff like that. Those could be fine exercises as long as you are increasing with load, intensity, variation, different things that you should be doing for any other muscle group anyway. Those are fine. But as an athlete, this is a really great thing to do so it can transfer over just a little bit better to the field. So he's going to have one opposite arm flex right out and then one leg extend right out. Go into full extension, arm fully extended, leg fully extended. Then he's going to slowly come back in, start at that starting position again, and then do the opposite side. Come back in. Good. Now you can relax real quick. Things I'm focusing on, specifically with the legs, this is not a bicycle kick. If you look at his legs, they're going straight out and coming back in. Now go back into that starting position. Demonstrate a dead bug again. Now demonstrate what a bicycle kick would look like. Just kind of kick your legs straight out, yeah. We're not really bringing a circular motion. You're kicking your legs straight out, slow and controlled, keeping this core tight. I don't want to see any flopping around. I don't want to see any movement of your core at all. I want to see everything in their torso right over here as stable as possible. Now, we've got a couple different variations that you can do for this. First one is going to be a banded dead bug, where you're going to take this band right out. You're going to bring it right over to the top of your chest. The thicker the band or the further the distance, the harder it's going to be. And now instead of moving your hands in opposite directions, you just simply move your legs and hold this, pull this out a little further in front of you. Hold that position right there. You're going to kick right out, slowly, and come back in. Now, this is a great variation to, again, add load resistance. If you're able to do an exercise, the one gripe that I have with sit-ups or something like that, is if you can do something like 50, 60, 70 reps, well, you need to make that heavier, otherwise you're really not going to have any gains if you're not getting anywhere close to failure. So this is another variation where you can make this a little more difficult. If you can do dead bugs all day long, like you could do sit-ups, you can put that band back. So, man, I lost my train of thought. So, if you can do 500 dead bugs, well, we need to increase the intensity in some way, shape, or form so you can continue progressing if that is your goal to maintain or to develop stronger or bigger abs. Or obliques too, in a certain sense. Now, another movement that I like to teach, and this is probably what I would teach before teaching a dead bug, is going to be a hollow hold. Now, in a hollow hold, you're going to have your arms straight up, you're going to have your legs straight up, and you're almost going to look like a banana, but the main focus here is, again, driving this lower back into the ground. So as Braden is doing right now. His legs are fully extended. Feet, you can't really see his feet, but his legs are about, 6-7 inches off the ground. Arms are a little bit about the same. Kind of looks like a banana peel. This, again, is going to teach you that bracing mechanic that I've been talking about throughout this whole video, keeping that core tight, and then eliminating that space in the lower ground. Really good job fixing that. And that is going to be the hollow hold. That is most likely something I'm going to teach before the dead bug. Then I'll teach the dead bug, and then we can go into banded variations. If the banded variations end up not really cutting it, then what you can do is instead of a band, you hold a weight right out in front of you, and then you just slowly kick those legs out. Other ab exercise, or really just core stability exercises that I really find to be great. Ab wheels, those are fantastic as well. You can do other variations of leg raises, any variations of dead bugs. Bird dogs are another one. It's just really the opposite, where you've got your hands and your knees in a prone position, and you're just going to kick right out, almost the exact opposite of the dead bug, but you're in a supine position in this. Thank you again, Braden, and that is the dead bug.